Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of your Brains Coach podcast. My name is Shurina, and I'm your host. I'm your Brains Coach, and I'm here to help you folks to learn all the science from all the best experts, researchers, all the best tools from the practitioners of all this science and theories. All these tools, brain body tools that will help you to be your best, to feel your best, to do what you need to do to live the best life experience. I have this insider joke that I very often share with people, scientists or just friends. We've been given the most sophisticated goal-achieving device in the entire universe, but unfortunately, it came without a user manual. And so now we're kind of stumbling our way through the writing of that manual. And I'm so grateful, for all the researchers and scientists who dedicate literally their lifetime to this work of figuring out how our brain works, why it works this way, and how we can use it in real life to live better, to feel better, create better life experience, and yes, also to look better, because the brain is the one who makes and orchestrates all the decisions. Folks, yesterday something really cool happened. We did No More Procrastination workshop. It was an intense workshop, 30 minutes. People there, we had people from New York, Bulgaria, felt like they were fire hosed because that was just a lot of information. I talked about 3 secrets. They're not so much secrets as things that people don't know about or don't hear a lot about often. So we talked about these 3 secrets that I learned from neuroscience, from different researchers about how the brain works and why we procrastinate on some things and not on others. And on the intensive, we were talking about very practical strategies on how to address these issues that are revealed by these secrets, so we never procrastinate again on the things that are important to us, that we actually choose to do in our life, in our relationships, in our business. It can be anything. So folks, there is this notion that some people are, because of the way their brain works, are procrastinators, and some people are not. And let me break down this belief into pieces. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you pay your bills? Do you work? Do you get the job that pays your bills done? Do you, if you have family, take care of your kids, your family, your spouses? Do you take care of your food? Do you prepare food? Do you do grocery shopping? Do you make sure that you continue living? The answer to this question for you, if you are listening to this podcast, is yes. You do everything you need to do to support yourself so you survive and keep living and hopefully thrive, right? So your brain doesn't procrastinate on those things, right? And maybe there is a hobby, a project, like a podcast, starting your YouTube channel. Maybe you're a passionate writer, or maybe you were always into dancing, or maybe you work in an office for a company and now you want to start your own gig. Now, whatever that is, folks, you procrastinate on that, but not on the essential stuff that keeps you alive. And you might think that, well, of course, I don't procrastinate on that. I know that important, but that's the key, and the introduction to the first secret, it's important. Your brain knows it's important and you do not procrastinate on that. And it means that your brain is not a procrastinator. It is not more procrastinator, not more than anyone else's brain. Most of us have a very effective, very robust brain. And it is totally capable, without you doing anything, taking care of you. And the reason we procrastinate, you are about to learn those 3 secrets. Why do you, in fact, procrastinate on some things, but not on others, right? I just showed you that you're not a procrastinator. You are perfectly capable of doing the important stuff, of getting that stuff done that keeps you alive, well, and thriving. And now we talked through this big belief that you might be carrying, that there is something wrong with you or your brain. Nothing wrong with you. It is taking care of you as you're listening to this podcast just fine. You is taking care of your breath, or all the processes in your body while you're learning. It makes you go and get work done. It makes you eat and sleep, however well or not so well. It does all of that. So your brain is not a procrastinator. Let's agree on that. And then let's move to the 3 secrets that neuroscience and other research reveals to us about how our brain works and why we indeed procrastinate on some things and not others. And in this podcast, I'm going to briefly walk you through the strategies that we learned on our workshop yesterday. And by the way, folks, there is a link in the show notes to the form where you put your email, and you're going to get the whole recording of the workshop that we did yesterday with Q&As and folks sharing their experience and their concerns about, maybe we get that good that we start doing more of a side projects and forget about job, right? So it was fun. Different questions. And again, in the show notes, there is a link to the form where you just put your email, and you're going to be on the upgraded brain newsletter list, and you're going to get a recording for absolutely free. And again, it's video, it's us talking, questions, and the whole experience live. So check it after you stop listening. For now, folks, let's dive into the secrets. And before we do that, I'm going to take a little bit of a break, sip some water. Okay, folks, I'm back. And secret number 1, your brain procrastinates on some things because your brain thinks they're not important. Your brain literally thinks they're not important. And why is that so? Well, to answer this question, understand that your brain's primary purpose, and we talk about this fact a lot on this podcast, your brain's primary purpose is to keep you alive, to keep your energy balanced, so you don't run out of energy that is needed to run absolutely every process in your body. Your brain wants you to have more chances to procreate and to transmit your genetic material, so to speak, right? So social status is important, feeding yourself is important, safety is important, all of that stuff is important to your brain, and do it on autopilot. Now, all of your side projects, your brain considers not important because you never took the work into your hands, and you never did an exercise similar to what I'm going to tell you right now. You never ask yourself, how does this project, let's say you are building a podcast, you want to build a podcast for many different reasons, and we're also going to a little bit walk through this process a little bit in detail. So you want to start a podcast. Now you need to explain to your brain and to yourself, why is that important? How is it going to contribute to your well-being, specifically to you getting money or opportunities to get money, for you to get better social status, and better social status means more mates, better community, better safety, again, job, work, career opportunities, business opportunities. So you never actually sit down and explain to yourself what this podcast means to you. And maybe it has nothing to do with your work or putting food on your table. Maybe it's going to be your side project. But then you gotta link it to your values and explain to your brain to which value making a podcast actually is linked to. Do you want to just try things? That's totally fine. If one of your values is to experiment with things, right? Try things and be more of an entrepreneur in your life. What you need to do is sit down and ask yourself, why is that important in my life? Why is it essential for me to start it? Because folks, we're busy in our lives. If it's not essential, you're going to skip it. As simple as that. You know why most people never start things? Because it's not essential in their lives. They just never actually took the time to figure out, is this important? And if so, we're going to jump into next secrets. But this is the first step. You got to explain to your brain, to yourself, why is this project important? You got to explicitly connect it to your well-being, to your perhaps putting again food on your table and increasing your earnings, to business opportunities, to status opportunities, to building community and your tribe. And by doing that, providing well-being and happiness and more safety. We are fundamentally social creatures. Social status is one of the most important motivators for us and all mammals, actually. So why is that important to you? And then you gotta ask why again and again and again. It's, 5 whys exercise from Sakichi Toyota, the founder of Toyota Industries. And it works. When people understand the value of what they do, it increases productivity. Basically what it means, it increases your ability to get things done instead of procrastination. Right? So this is like secret number 1. Your brain is gonna procrastinate. My brain, your brain, everyone's brain is gonna procrastinate on the things that it considers non-important. But the good part about that, you can make important anything that you truly decide to do. And that's why it's important to do this, journaling work and just self-reflection work, and spend time talking to yourself. Like, what is important in my life? Why, how do I want to design my life experience? Where do I want to be in a few years? Who do I want to be in a few years? And then you connect what you want to do to that. So that's secret and step number 1. Your brain is procrastinating on things it considers unimportant. As simple as that. Your brain is totally capable of taking care of all the important stuff. That's why you're listening to this podcast. Alive, having food, having a roof over your head. That is why you have all of that, because of your amazing brain that doesn't procrastinate on the important stuff. Number 2, your brain procrastinates because it thinks it's too expensive. Now let me explain to you what that is. Now imagine with me, you go to a supermarket and you see a pineapple there and it costs $500. Like there is a price tag on pineapple, $500. What's your reaction? Are you going to buy that? And let me add a detail. When you went to a supermarket, you wanted to buy a pineapple. But there is price tag, $500. Are you going to buy this pineapple in today's price environment? Most probably, if you're a normal human being, no, you might get curious, like why the F this pineapple costs so much, but you will most probably not buy it. And why is that? Because your brain calculated, I am not willing to invest so much of my resource. I make this money and now I have to spend it on one pineapple. Your brain will go you will not do that, that's like a no-brainer. And now you might think, well, how is it related to procrastination? Your brain does the same activity, the same price value comparison with everything you do. So let's say you want to start a podcast and in your mind, there is this story. Okay, to start the podcast, I need to figure out how to invite famous guests, and your brain thinking, it's energy, it's time, it's a lot of work, right? Resources you are going to be paying with that. Now, the next one, I need equipment and perhaps a studio, and I need to learn how to use all of that. So your brain is continuing the conversation. Okay, more money spent, more energy spent, more time spent. Okay, now the next one. Okay, I need to figure out how to host it. And hosting will also cost money, and you will have to spend time figuring out how it all works. And so the cost, you see it rising in your brain. And then the value, what you get for it. Most people, when you ask them, okay, why do you want to do this hobby? Why do you want to start a podcast? I thought it would be fun. You see, now you have all this cost, and on the other side of value, you have a pineapple. Literally, you have almost nothing. That's what it feels in your brain, unless you do the next process. What you're going to do, you're going to reduce the cost and increase the value. And you can do it in a moment. You don't have to change anything about your life. You just look at the different side of reality. It's like living in a building that has 2 sides with windows on both sides. Maybe you live in an apartment like that or a house. And on one day, you see that on one side, there is sun shining and the weather is beautiful. And you look on the other side, you walk over the other side, and it's a cloudy part. And so the weather there doesn't look that nice. And depending on which side you spend more of your time, your mood's going to change and you're going to make different decisions about going out and doing things outside. Now, the same thing happens here. You're not lying to yourself. You're just looking at different parts of reality. Let me walk you through the process. Okay, now the cost of entry, let's reduce it. What you're going to do with your podcast, you're going to take your phone with the mic that it has, you're going to record it in your living room, and you're going to be talking to the microphone about yourself, 5-minute story. And then you're going to host it on a free version of some platform that is super easy to set up. You just Google, okay, where I can host my podcast for free, and you're going to get some free trial. Now the cost of entry is literally like 15 minutes, 7 minutes to record that 5-minute podcast. And then you have another 7 minutes to quickly find that you can also do on your phone, by the way, a podcast host, and then you put your stuff out there. Now the cost became like, I don't know, $10, right? In your mind. That's what I'm, again, getting back to that pineapple idea. For that pineapple, I haven't bought a pineapple in a while. That's why I'm also like blinking on the price of the pineapple. Not much of a fan of pineapples for some reason. But anyhow, so now the pineapple, let's say it's $10 and let's say it's an okay price and you buy this pineapple. But now we also can increase the value. Okay, the podcast, it will, let's say you're a business owner. It has the very real potential to bring real customers into my business by me doing perhaps research with experts, or just myself thinking deeper about any subject, right? So it has a huge potential to bring business from around the world. It's not limited to any location, right? Then I can connect with other podcast hosts, and it's going to help me to create like-minded people tribe. That's your social status, that's your tribe, your connections, your safety coming with that. Then it's kind of fun. I am the kind of person that loves learning new things, how to do that, how to learn how to promote my podcast, for example. And so it's skill acquisition that improve your chances to get more work done, to get more business, again, to increase your social status, right? So now, as you see, we are stacking up, and then you can make friends with famous researchers, or maybe if you are into marketing experts by interviewing them on your podcast, right? And again, you grow your social status, your social circle. Now we're stacking up the pineapple value. And maybe instead of one pineapple, you didn't notice the offer, that there was a whole case of pineapples, right? Like, holy F, $10 and the whole case of pineapple, your brain is, of course I'm going to buy. And here, that's when you stop procrastinating. It's all about cost and value. It's all about marketing and sales at the end in our brain. I never actually thought about that in this way till the workshop. That's what your brain always does. And that's what marketers actually say. You got to increase the value of your offer 10 times in order for your customer more likely to buy your product. So you gotta stack up value, let's say for $1,000 if you want them to buy a product for $100. So the same, your brain is always doing the same. Your brain is the best like marketer and salesperson. It knows the value because, the reality where you live in. And when the cost is $500 for a pineapple, your brain is not going to buy. It's going to procrastinate. So reduce the cost of entry, right? Like we talked through with the podcast, and then increase the value. And as you notice, I did it in just a couple of minutes by talking to myself. Because it's all about looking at a sunnier side of reality, not on the gloomier side, having huge cost and no value. I think they do similar when they try to sell you like car or something. I think it's like Jefferson technique or something. When you're like on one side, all the benefits, on the other side, all the negatives, and the salesperson helps you to write down all the positive sides. And when it comes to negative sides, it's like you are on your own and you have 2 points there, and you see all this stack of benefits, and you're like, yeah, it's a great deal. Let me buy it. So That's how it works. The same as procrastination, folks. And again, you have the opportunity to watch it live. It's a 25-minute training total, and then we have like 15 minutes for Q&A. So, and it is in the show notes. Don't forget about that. And now the third secret. Your brain procrastinates because it simply forgets. Is it such a secret? No. But what is kind of like a secret is we live in a reality that is overwhelming. We have notifications, we have a lot of responsibilities, the world is changing, anything from AI to, wars and I don't know, Elon Musk craziness with Twitter, like so many things, new world of work, new world of everything. And on top of that, your brain is busy taking care of you so you don't die of starvation or going homeless, and you take care of your family and you grow your career, right? So your brain has to take care of a lot of things, and things that are unimportant, too expensive, or even the things that you consider important and you know the value, your brain still to start, it will be harder for your brain. Beginnings that are not a part of your habitual routine, that's been shown by many behavioral psychologists and researchers about human behavior, things that are new, unfamiliar, out of our routine and habits, they are harder to start. And that's why, and you're going to forget about them because they're not part of your routine. What is part of your routine, you are less likely to forget. What is not, you're more likely to forget. That's why, number one, you got to create recipes for your brain to follow, creating in advance that habit, that pattern for your brain to follow. And number two, you got to create hot reminders popularized by James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. So now let's get into detail, but before, let me sip a little bit more water. And let's get back to our secret number 3. So your brain simply forgets. How do you avoid this? So they did this experiment. People are phenomenal at forgetting to show up to vote. And so researchers wanted to make an experiment and with the purpose of increasing show up of voters. So they actually vote, not just register to vote. And so what they did, and what has been proven effective, they called people up who registered to vote, and they asked them to tell the researcher on the phone, or the person who was talking, how, when, and where people will vote. How, when, and where. And the person will talk them through, okay, how I'm going to go to this location, or I'm going to go online and vote. When I'm going to do this on Tuesday on my lunch break. Where I'm going to, again, either go to this address or I'm going to go online to this page. So how, when, and where. And they asked them to repeat that a couple of times. And what they did, it created this pattern in your brain. Your brain is kind of made a couple of repetitions of that walk through the voting process. So you don't actually have to do the action to start creating patterns. You can imagine it by talking through this recipe, this behavior to yourself, and automatically you're going to start imagining that. And once you create the pattern, it's going to be so much easier for you to remember that behavior, to do it, like how, when, and where. You know exactly what you're going to do. This clarity, walking yourself through the behavior, new habit, will help you to do this habit. So what you're going to do, let's say you want to start your podcast. You're going to create this recipe, action recipe, how, when, and where. I'm going to record it on my phone. So it's how. I'm going to record it in my living room, where, and I'm going to do it on Friday evening after I come back from work, 5 p.m. And so this is the recipe, but it's not going to work that well unless you have a hot trigger, a hot reminder popularized by James Clear in this, connected with this recipe. So what do we mean by hot reminders? Cold reminder, let's say again, you are recording your podcast on Friday, 5 p.m. So cold reminder would be something 6 a.m. on Friday, alarm goes off and it says you are recording your podcast today at 5 p.m. This is a cold one because there's going to be a whole day where a lot of things going to happen that will make your brain totally forget about what you promised to yourself because it's a new thing. And unless you have some other reminder, you're not going to do it. So this is a cold reminder. In most cases, they don't work that well. Now, a hot reminder, you can still have your alarm at 6 a.m. But then a hot reminder, you would also put like a piece of paper with words on them. I'm recording my podcast that is somewhere, that meets you somewhere where you enter your apartment. And then you also have an alarm before leaving your work, like at the end of your work day, you are recording the podcast once you get home. So hot reminders are reminders that are at the scene where you need to do action. They are very close to where you actually going to perform your action. So this is the difference. And then you put it on your, again, calendar. You do whatever it takes to make sure that the reminder reaches you at the point when and where you can take action or about to take action. And that's about it. That's how you make your brain not forget about your commitment. And of course, before these reminders, you did all the work with value stacking and reducing the cost, and you did the work with walking yourself through the importance of that thing in your life. What is it exactly contributing to? And then when you combine all of this, you will not procrastinate on the thing that you want to do. And then the question on our workshop was, but so then there are still some things that I won't be able to do, right? Like if I want to do a podcast, but then I have too much work, etc. And yes, you will still have priorities. And that's why you need to do the work and understand, is it really important? And if it's not, then quit it or perhaps delay it and say yourself, okay, I don't have the capacity to start a podcast right now. Let me put it off like for 3 months and then set myself a reminder. Then in 3 months, I'm going to come back to the idea and reevaluate it. And then you take it out of your mind, out of sight, out of mind, and you don't feel bad about the fact that you are procrastinating, because you're not procrastinating. You're planning to get back to it later because you have other priorities and responsibilities. And that's how you stop being a procrastinator and you do the things that you truly want to do and you have the time, the capacity to do, and you don't do all the other stuff and you stop thinking about that. And that's what the podcast is about today, and that's what we did on our workshop yesterday. The recording is available to you to get, to grab, to save, and see this skill training live. And repeat it as much as you need to master this no procrastination skill. Again, your brain is not a procrastinator. It's perfectly capable and is taking great care of you. Your brain does procrastinate on the things that your brain thinks are not important, too expensive, or your brain simply forgets about because you didn't make it good enough reminders and didn't walk you through the recipes, the routine in advance. That's it, folks. So in the show notes, there is a link where you're going to get your recording. So use it if you are interested in canceling your procrastination out of your life, that bad feeling, that frustration that you are not moving forward on the things that you want to build in your life, right? Get the training and get your procrastination out of the way and start building your life. Please do me a favor and share this podcast with anyone who is struggling with procrastination and whose life might be dramatically changed. Be the change agent, my change agent. So share this podcast episode, and you never know who needs it, right? So share. This will be a huge favor to me. Get your workshop, No More Procrastination workshop recording, get stuff done, get stuff moving, build the life that you want to live. And thank you guys for tuning in. Have an awesome weekend, and I'll talk to you very soon.